Hello creative friends, it's Tiff back again, and today I'm going to be using ArtStacks. These are images, inspirational images that you can use in your art journal, your paper crafting, your whatever you want to do with it needs. So shout out to Heather for allowing me to play with these images that you sent me. They are super awesome. And I chose the doors and windows, the core stack. And if you know my work at all, you know that I like to use imagery of houses and doors and windows, and I like to create that. And then they also had this quote sheet that had beautiful quotes in there. So I'm just kind of reading over it to see the quality of paper is quite amazing. And then this company is an Australian-based company. The shipping was relatively quick, and the product is really awesome. And then this is a really cool piece of like tissue paper that was also included, and tissue paper is always fun to collage with. And then I immediately, when I saw these like smaller images of windows and doors, was like, oh, so lush, such good images. Now, we all know that I love to recycle. I love it. I love it. I just can't help it. So I have been holding on to these coffee bags. So we get coffee beans delivered about once every 3 weeks. And I have got a stash of these bags that I just know is going to be awesome if I can figure out the right project to use it in. So this is what I'm going to use as my substrate. So because it has this company name and logo packaging on it, I'm just going to cover it up with some super cheap masking tape here. Not being ever so like careful. I'm just like kind of adding that textural element. If you've never used masking tape, you should, because it's super fun and easy to use. But I covered up the entire logo on the packaging, just not ever being really careful, just like little pieces and parts of masking tape to create a super awesome texture. Now we know if you're using the masking tape, it's not really like very like, it doesn't stick that well. Let's just keep it honest, okay? So I am going to go in with some gel medium just to make sure that I'm creating a really good layer so that it's all going to stay together. Now, I will say there is a little hiccups because there is a little bumps. Like, it's not a completely smooth substrate because this is a coffee bean bag, okay, a coffee bag. And so the bag has little wrinkles and so forth in it. It's fine. But I wanted to use some pumice gel, and I also wanted to incorporate crackle paste. Now, this is Golden's pumice gel. Is it pumice? I don't know. Anyway, I can't really tell you exactly what it did. It probably added like a little bit of tooth to it, but it's not like so much tooth like a clear gesso would be. So, it was just in my stash. When I grabbed the crackle paste, I saw it and thought, I don't know that I've ever used it, so let me grab it and try it out. So I am going to use, this is my tried and true, my Deco Arch crackle paste, which is just, it's so good. It just crackles so good consistently. And I'm putting it on a little bit of the outside where the craft like part of it is. And then I'm putting a lot of concentration there into the masking tape area. Now, while this is drying, I am just taking a look at the quotes here and just really finding one that speaks to me so I can go ahead and kind of start those intentions out. Like, just get that intuition and that energy and intention around what I want this to say. And so the quote that I chose is, "Don't spend time beating on a wall hoping to transform it into a door." Coco Chanel. So I was like, yes, I'm loving that, and I also like that it's a very dark background, and then the font is white. So I kind of like the contrast of that and thought it would be really cool to use that somehow, some way. So I cut it out, and I'm just going to let it hang around for a little bit. Because sometimes that's what you got to do, right? It doesn't always come together. And then I actually wanted to allow this crackle paste to dry on its own. So if you've never used crackle paste before, it crackles better whenever you just let it do its thing, okay? And so then I'm also tearing off a little bit of that wall that was on that big door image, like 8.5 by 11 size. And then I wanted to use this like light teal color door with the little red pop in the middle, and because as soon as I saw it, I knew. I was like, this is the one, this is the one. And so I'm just tearing it out ever so roughly, just trying to see like the size that I feel like is going to be good for the substrate that I'm working on. So don't feel like you have to use an image just the way the image is. For your taste or for the substrate you're working on, it may be that you have to tear it like this. So I'm just going to tear it down a good bit. Just to give me the right size for the particular layout that I'm kind of liking here. And then I'm doing all of that while I'm ever so, air quotes, patiently waiting for this crackle paste to do what it does so I can come back and kind of approach it with fresh eyes after it does all of its crackly goodness. So I did leave it to sit. Actually, I was planning on coming back in a few hours, and it ended up being a few days. And here I am, not being very patient, popping out the dryer. And then I was like, Tiff, just let it be. You know what to do. Just let it be. So I did let it sit for a few days, and then I came back to it, and it was so textured and delicious. And then this little morsel that I keep playing around with, it doesn't really go with the image that I chose. So I ended up kind of just tossing it to the side, and I was just trying things, right? You have to try it on. Now it's a few days later, and look at all of that yummy, yummy texture that we got from the crackle paste and the masking tape and all of the good things there. Love it. So I am going to go in with a glue stick here to glue this down. Now again, the paper quality is really, really nice. So my better option probably for this would have been to actually use my heavy gel matte medium. But you know what? I'm hard-headed sometimes, and I just wanted to will it to stick to this substrate that already had so much texture going on. And then while I should be waiting for it to dry, I went ahead and dipped my Stabilo all into my paint water over there just to get it really good. And I want to let the Stabilo all that black really get into the recesses of those cracks so we can just really appreciate how awesome that crackle texture is. There's just nothing like that crackle. I just love it. It looks weathered and worn without a whole lot of effort that you have to do. And so I'm taking my paintbrush and I'm zhuzhing it around with some water to get some goodness going on. And you can see that that image already had like a little bit of like gray tones in that wall that was already quite weathered anyway. So I figured that, you know, some water, Stabilo all, I could kind of pull it all together so it did not look like it's just glued on there. And that's another tip. So, if you feel like your image is just looking like it's glued, try using something that goes over the image as well as something that is on the background, like those splatters that ended up getting kind of zhuzhed away because it just It just did. And it still looks really good and kind of together because we had that kind of grayish color in that tone of the wall. And now I am going to use my spirit animal, which is the masking tape again, to go around, and I just want to kind of connect the... connect it more with the page. And a lot of times if you go over, like just barely, ever so lightly over with another collage piece, whether it's masking tape, whether it's anything you can think of, a little paper giblet, whatever you got, just get that and kind of lay it over the edges. And a lot of times that will help you kind of marry and meld all of the papers together. So if that's a struggle, try that. A lot of times that will help. Now I'm actually bringing out the charcoal here and a blending stump, and I'm going to kind of use that to really just add a little bit of dark into this whole area. So just a little more grunge to bring it all together, to make it kind of pop up and do a little something. And then I wanted to bring a little touch, just an ever so tiny bit of red. So I had my ink tints pencil out, the poppy red, which I thought was a beautiful color to pull that door, that red of that door out just even a little bit more. And then of course, me being me, I did not wash my brush off. It was just sitting over there hanging out. So when I put it down there, it had some dark from the Stabilo all on it, but it was fine. It's good. It's all good. So it's just a little hint of something with those little bitty faint red marks. And here again, you see I'm still trying to make sure that this paper is really adhered to all of that texture that I threw at it before. Gonna use my heating tool to just get us dry, and then I'm going to think about that dark letters that we had, right? So the quote that was on the quote sheet, what to do. And originally I thought I would like the quote sideways, and then I decided no. And so I'm going to cut it in two so that I can ultimately put it there. And then I thought at the beginning I would kind of weight that darkness down and put it at the bottom of the page. But then I thought about the quote a little bit more and how it's talking about beating on a wall, hoping to transform it into a door. So I was like, I think I want to put it at the top. I don't know why. I'm just listening to my intuition here. And so I'm going to go for it. I mean, after all, it's just paper, right? It's just paper, a little bit of masking tape. It's going to be fine. So I did use the charcoal to zhuzh it around a little bit. I'm going to go in with the masking tape. With the glue stick. You would think I would have learned by now to go ahead and break out the heavy duty gel medium. But of course, nope, I didn't. Lessons learned, right? So it would have been stuck a lot faster, done a lot better had I done gel medium. But what I am going to do is I'm actually going to take the gel medium here in just a second, and I'm going to grab it and go over the entire image with the gel medium, just to have it good and secured, and also knowing that I've added all of those water-soluble mediums to it. I still don't really know exactly where this coffee bag is going to end up, but what I do know is that wherever it ends up, I want to make sure that it's good and secure and is usable in whatever fashion I see that I want to. Now, I am at the end of this video going to share with you a few things that I was thinking of as I was creating this when it comes to what you could do with the coffee bag after we have it all good and zhuzhed down and dried and looking good. So, again, just taking my paintbrush to put that gel medium all over everything. Going to go ahead and set it really quick with my heating tool, and then I caught my eye on the tissue paper element, and I wanted to incorporate it somehow. And so how I'm going to incorporate it is kind of allowing, I felt like the bottom, the door was kind of floating to me at this point. And so I wanted something heavily weighted at the bottom to kind of bring it all together and make it look like it wasn't so just hanging out midair. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take that tissue paper, and I think this was like maybe like the wall part of that tissue paper, so it has some really great texture there. And I wanted to kind of capitalize on that, and I'm going to use the gel medium, because if you've ever used gel medium with tissue paper, you could also use like fluid matte gel here too, but I just used what I had real close by, and it just melts away, so you can't even really tell that it's tissue paper there, which is really super cool. So I'm going to put it under the tissue paper and over the top of the tissue paper, being a little careful not to tear it, but I will say that whatever this tissue paper is, it felt much more sturdy than the tissue paper like in a gift bag or something. I don't really know. So it may not have actually torn that easily, but I was just trying to be a little more delicate than my normal self is to make sure. And then I'm just going to layer a few little extra pops and pieces over that door. Again, pushing that in back just a touch so that it all really comes together and has good dimension, and it's all pulled together here. So again, go make sure you check down in the description box below. All of the elements that I used today were from ArtStacks, and this is the doors and windows core stack. So I am going to leave them down below. They also have an Instagram and a Facebook community that you can check out, along with a blog that has tips and tricks and ideas of what you can use. Now it's all dried and good, and now I want to share with you what I thought this would be really cool to do. So let's just say you wanted to send somebody a little happy mail. Okay, you could use this as an envelope and put your little giblets and little bits and bobs and whatever you got, little art papers or what have you. I'm just giving you a little example here. You can slide that into your bag and then have all your little bits in there. And then you could close it up because it's got a little seal. And then you could put it in one of these cellophane bags. Okay. And it would be like a clear envelope protecting your art. And then just address it on the outside. And then when your friend got it, they could just open it up. How cool is that? All right. So thank you so much. I hope you had some fresh ideas on how to use ArtStacks and even how to recycle those coffee bags. Until next time, y'all. Toodaloo.